Hello, anybody who's watching this. Welcome to my reaction to Final Fantasy 15 review BTS Adventure trademark. And I do hope there's no BTS music in this, uh, just for the copyright. Not like I hate BTS, I never listened to them. Maybe I should, maybe that will bring more people to my channel. I don't know. Should I do BTS reaction? Oh, okay, whatever. I've actually played Final Fantasy 15, but not a lot. I kind of gave up at some point because I don't really like the gameplay of it, the fighting mostly, and that's what most of the game is. I thought the same thing about Final Fantasy 7 and 9 with their uh, kind of turn-based fighting. Original Final Fantasy 7 as well, not the remake. I haven't played that, and I don't know if I ever will. Anyway, but no, I didn't really like it, but I do kind of wonder what happens in it. So yeah, and also I'm doing this after a very good meal. So hopefully my stomach can handle about 20 minutes of recording. So, if you want to help out the channel, there's a donation link in the description below. You can also just dislike, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Do whatever you want. Anything helps the channel out. Let's begin.
There are spoilers in the video. Spinal Stagnancy 15 is one of the most unintentionally funny games ever made, and I don't award that distinction lightly. It's trying its best. In this game, you play as John Fantasy, an intrepid prince of insomnia, accompanied by the BTS crew as they travel across Korea in their bid to
music
dodge the draft and re-establish the Joseon dynasty with Jungkook as their one true king. If you can think of it, 15 has it. Do you want to conscript God to kill endangered animals? Entering Super Saiyan mode to kill a sea snake, compress a mountain-sized turtle into a black hole, and break the entire game's leveling system because of lasagna. Yeah, that's possible. Is it a good game? Well,
I need to reassess the situation. But also, like, the idea of the game is so fucking cool. Like, you explore the world with your boys and then fight giant monsters in it. That's so cool. I would love the game that has that, but with a gameplay I would actually enjoy.
that's debatable. The original director wanted to make the game a musical, but you know, thank God they added the hyper-realistic pizza. It just wouldn't be the same. This game is one of the most baffling design disasters that I've ever seen, and showing it to you in its full absurd glory is a service to my country.
Design disaster, okay.
Tonal shifts, batshit story, and utterly incomprehensible combat. There is no part of this game that didn't surprise me, although I don't think they intended that. So come along as we dive headfirst into the boy band madness and recall the finest game of 2016. If you know any Latin, this game is fucking insulting. Our story begins with the King of Korea, whose name is King Lightheaven, the 113th. I looked it up on the wiki. Their dynasty is only 2,000 years old, meaning for him to be there, every single male king must have fucked at 17. Maximum. He's busy disowning his son and our protagonist, Knight Lightheaven, in hopes that he will get some blonde bitch pussy. Noctis, my son, I have erectile dysfunction. It's here that we're introduced to our buddies, the BTS boys, and all of their unique mechanics. Quicksilver is a light Slovenian femboy who exclusively fights through small arms fire. Fire Knowledge is a smart...
I like the... I just realized something about this guy. The first guy, I like his story that he was fat. He was bullied. Noctis helped him at some point. And then he admired him and then started exercising because of that to become his friend. Amazing. Anyway, this guy is straight from Black Clover.
Calculating man who
also a fire guy.
Knives. And Sword Friendship is a burly, reliable bear who hits people with giant chunks of metal. With our friends assembled in our car out of gas, it's time to begin the game in earnest. Now, it's surprising me that they actually struggled to push...
Thank you. Thank you, Maxor. More Metal Gear Rising music. Thank you.
Their car, since Noctis can deflect punches from a fucking giant. This sets in motion a series of quirky adventures to satiate the bloodlust of
my favorite
G-Min. It's time to talk about that combat, or better known as a 19th century safari. Take that, Cecil the Lion. When it works, you're dashing between enemies, performing mid-air backflips, and teleporting around fast enough to burn my graphics card. For the other half, though, it's imbalanced as fuck. Let's go on a quest to explore a level 20 cave. In order to get there, you'll have to drive down the street, take the path, and fight the mandatory level 54 Giga Snake. Endgame bosses are
Really?
level 53. I'm not even 10 hours in. Fortunately, you can run right past it and straight into the instant kill crabs. I'm
Then it's not fucking mandatory. Don't do me like this.
convinced they put this here by accident. There is no reasonable explanation. So how do we stop getting crabs like your dad? Noctis has 4 slots to use 4 weapons of various movesets, including swords, bigger swords, London resident, hydraulic press channel, rock on a stick, gun, and magic. Mind Freak is pretty cool, but bullets work a little faster. Each enemy reacts differently to each weapon, forcing you to switch up your playstyle, or alternatively, just hold down the sword button and watch the game play itself. I can just feel the variety. But by far, the best weapon in your arsenal is the Point Warp, which allows you to travel arbitrary distances at will. Oh, buddy, hang on. I see a pixel like 5 miles away. The primary contributor towards the game actually being fun is Point Warp, even when I use it to cheese the game. Not to mention, the animation budget is absurd. Every time you hit someone's back, every single time you parry a boss, for every boss, there is a unique animation.
That's why I'm surprised when he said that it's a design. I wanted to say a proper thing, and I forgot it right as I was saying it. Design disaster. Because the game looks amazing.
You can
surprising
really feel the animator sweat as he nears the end of his 13-hour Japanese workday at the Square Enix Insane Asylum, leaping 60 feet to stab a dog, a mid-air sword fight, and a triple backflip to dunk a crocodile. It's all here, and it's really janky. A common theme for Final Fantasy 15 is that it's fun when it works, but it doesn't often work. So before our thrilling performance in a fucking Dongduchon, I'm losing my mind. It's important that we go over the rest of our thrilling Korean lore to answer such questions as, why has our dad sent us to Nevada? Why is the cow big? Why won't a virtual YouTuber Tsunamaki Watami collaborate with me? There are 6 gods or some shit, and they made humans for fun. Big mistake. These include Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Are these the... It hasn't been that long since I played the 9 and 7. What the hell? The gods there, Eonax or whatever.
The Wizard, the Snake.
The Wizard, I know him.
The unsafe for YouTube Unlimited Blade Works, and the god of breakdancing. The Tango Totem in particular was very helpful and told us how to turn on our stove. From this, the beautiful and powerful civilization of Solheim had risen to try and kill the gods immediately, presumably with enough nukes to make Belka look like Clown College. This, of course, forces the dancing deity to strike them down, creating demons and alternative political philosophies. This pisses everyone off and begins the First Korean War, forcing the gods to give the kings of Lucis some cool swag and the K-pop crystal, forever dividing humanity and preventing the manifestation of white people Juche. So after the defeat of the Samba Scourge, the gods took a nap for like several thousand years, leaving the maintenance of Earth to the kings of Lucis, apparently seeing no problem with this. So anyways, the Niflheim Empire just takes over the entire planet using an army of Juche demon terminators. Their new goal is to kill all of the gods again, except this time while they're sleeping. And by the time our game begins, the kingdom of Lucis has retreated to one city. I guess the god's blessing is just shit. Now, what do you think happens the literal instant that you leave the city for an arranged marriage with the Empire? Do I hear
It gets new.
There'll be no wedding bells for today.
I mean, I guess the plot has to happen sometime.
I remember that. I played up to this.
This emotional and life-changing moment affects our protagonist greatly. Everything he's ever known has been destroyed, and nothing will ever be the same again. Hey, Noctis, you want to go ride some boids? Ho, it's almost enough to make you forget about your dead family. With our lives permanently destroyed, it's time for Noctis to begin the true trials of a king. The first step of which is to find all of the tombs of previous kings spread throughout the world and steal their shit.
To find the swords.
Super Saiyan mode. Thanks, Grandpa. Your ashes were delicious. This is when the problems begin, and they don't end. Director Tetsuya Nomura was, to put it lightly, a fucking batshit. Again, he tried to make the game a musical because he watched Les Miserables once. There is no escaping the ghost of cut
I don't know if that's true.
It has so many unique and amazing locations that you see one time. It's as if the game has too much money, but the budget had to be prioritized by fucking Cleverbot. This took 10 years and 2 engines to make. When you play the main quest, it introduces some new characters in elaborate cutscenes and then kills them in a minute. You would think the open world would be some relief from this, but no, the car is on rails. They didn't even program driving. What does that remind you of? Speaking of things that the developers forgot to do, side quests.
But with all honesty, it's not necessary for the car not to be on rails.
a few of them, but out of the 206 possible activities, there were only 2 that were good. How can this be? Well, the best way to describe why is to engage in one, and I think this market looks like a great place to start.
I've been here,
what's
yeah.
up, king of the planet? So I was driving my car, and I just so happened to kill my wife by crashing into a tree at 90 miles per hour. Sounds good. I need you to go find my mangoes. You're fucking what? I left them in the truck after killing my wife in a car crash.
I don't think your problem is mangoes.
Can you find my mangoes? All right, we'll just go and find the mangoes. Wow, look at these bees. Thank you for finding the mangoes that I lost when I killed my wife. Okay. A while back, I lost a few apples on the side of the road while driving at 90
Okay, let's go do that.
Apparently, because they didn't have enough money to waste, Square Enix put a cup noodles quest into the game. The characters actively rant about the deliciousness of cup noodles.
They're easy to make whenever you've got a craving, and they're delicious to boot. If you take something already delicious like cup noodles and add in the finest, freshest ingredients, what do you get? The ultimate flavor experience.
Oh my god, I don't remember that.
On our
I don't think I've...
train. We travel between locations,
Okay,
interspersed between vast stretches of absolute nothingness. This game already looks great. Our gang rides to the city of Lestalem in search of Noctis's ibuprofen. Fortunately, this well-dressed and not suspicious individual has all of the answers that we need. This is Arden, a man who is incapable of speaking normally.
Aren't nursery rhymes curious things?
What? He is willing to lead us to Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's medicine cabinet, and we accept without hesitation.
I think I fought
so
one.
After entering his way,
Eidolons. They are fucking Eidolons.
van with free My Chemical Romance CDs, we arrive at Dwayne "The Rock" skyrocketing rockslide rocket sprocket.
I came here to clear a headache.
So, for Noctis to gain the god's power and defeat the Empire for good, he has to beat half of them up. Kind of like the Empire does, but he's the correct family of inbred designer dogs, so it's different. A prolonged and painful fight against Dwayne's masturbation arm ensues, really highlighting
I think I beat him and that's why I stopped.
at the expense of my sanity. But eventually, we scratch his arm into respecting us, and he McFucking kills everyone in a 90-mile
Normally
radius.
Rising, thank you.
Hello bitches, I'm with the Empire now, and furthermore I've stolen your car. Get the fuck inside or this volcano will turn your penis inside out.
You know, it's very nice that Arden gave us a lift up twice. I wonder if we'll see more of him. Next on the list of gods to impress is Gandalf, who just kind of lives in the woods that we've already explored. I think they ran out of time for this one, because the only thing standing between us and him is one cave that you walk through it. Maybe romance a snake or two. Oh man, guys, she's real cute. I don't know what to say. Bada bing, bada
Oh,
boom.
not a
We
doggy
got
dog.
his approval. That took like 20 minutes. This game is more rushed than a fucking Chinese high-rise. From this moment going forward, the game has effectively destroyed all possible tension. By having Noctis be explicitly assisted by fucking Zeus, Final Fantasy 15 becomes a game about the gods being lazy. How's this for a mechanic? The god's help is summoned randomly. Oh man, Noctis, you fighting with 90 demons down there? Okay. You can handle that, good luck. Don't worry, Noctis, I will be the one to save you from these 3 very threatening giraffes. You can thank me later. You know, we've gotten pretty used to this
Jesus
game.
Christ.
Vast open...
It looks amazing though, oh my god. I was so close to reaching that as well, apparently. God damn.
The fruit truck incident, or having a car. We'll throw that shit in the trash. This game turns from an open world adventure into a linear corridor halfway through. Although that's giving the open world a lot of credit. I don't think I'm going to miss this guy. From this point onward, we are eternally trapped in the cut content zone. The devs made a nearly perfect recreation of Venice with no side quests in it. Look at the detail of this town, the beautiful architecture, the
Was it
unique
cut
art.
actually?
I was there for 10 minutes. Once. It's actually impressive that they're willing to waste this much time. Even the NPCs in this town are just fucking off. The bartender for the only restaurant in the city talks like he wants to fucking eat you. What the fuck do you mean, Eldritch Abomination, Satoshi? Get back to the office right now and animate another 100 backflips. So after owning God 1 and God Nude, it's up to Noctis and the Bacchus to head to the Imperial capital and retrieve our K-pop crystal. That is until Arden shows up and he derails the entire fucking plot.
Sup, bitch?
Literally?
It turns out that Arden isn't just with the Empire, he is the fucking Empire. Oh, and also he can teleport, is literally immortal, has stabbed my wife, and also is going to kill the fucking sun. All that we have to do to stop him is enter the
Now has
city
a
of
head.
Pyongyang and endure his weaponless cock and ball torture dungeon. This man has gone from helping us to literally trying to gas me. Of course, doing so to trap Noctis in a pocket dimension for 10 years and fight the sun. That way, he can kill the gods and the true king while he's a consenting adult. If this all sounds confusing or stupid, don't worry, I don't have time to...
I think I knew about some kind of time jump. think I've seen arts and stuff about people being older than they are in the game where I played it. So this is how it
You're
happens.
totally free to watch the 5-episode anime series, animated episode art and prologue, all 4 character DLC, and the full Kingsglaive Final Fantasy 15 movie if you want the full context for what's happening. That's a very ambitious of you, Square Enix. In fact, they
I think I watched the
updated
anime,
the game to
or
contain
wanted to.
scenes from the movie because it just didn't make enough sense. Now it's up to us to fight Arden in the future. This is of course the part where the developers realized they had too
Cerberus.
many bosses, since this game was planned as well as the Great Leap Forward. So they make us fight like 5 in a row. That is some pacing. Not to mention, they're all very difficult. One might say absolutely unplayable. As it turns out, valuing your own time by not playing the shitty fetch quests gives your experience vastly below what is expected. We aren't even strong enough to fight the big snake. I could go back and do some quests if I was fucking stupid. No, we're going to do something much
Lasagna?
worse.
Another breaking entire game. Alright.
So what you're gonna want to do is travel back in time to Venice and endure the 5 minutes of gondola riding. You cannot skip it. We do this to
Okay.
head to the cannibal restaurant and dine on some photorealistic lasagna. This step is non-negotiable. Next, what you're going to want to do is time travel further in the past to Nevada. Watch out for this guy. He might try to steal the platinum chip. Go and initiate the quest where you're supposed to fight the huge fucking Blastoise for 2 hours. You can try to summon God, but he is powerless against the big turtle. Congratulations, you've unleashed unstoppable death into this world, and now it's up to you to destroy it. This is the Ring of the Lucio. You get it after visiting the 2-hour ball twisting dungeon, and can be used to compress enemies out of existence. For no discernible reason, it works on the turtle, instantaneously killing him via compression into a stellar object. That is a lot of XP. Now, XP is applied only when you sleep and can be enhanced by sleeping in a hotel, which is multiplied by 3 if you eat lasagna. It's time to travel back to the future, into an alternate fucking timeline where we've gone Garfield, and by editing the past in Nevada, we have altered the future. Congratulations, you now have the XP equivalent of 3 giant turtles. The game is over. Why even play anymore? All that's left is to strut back to the Arden Gauntlet and let the game play itself. Just take caution when time traveling that you do not get absorbed into the eternally falling hellscape. Now we can break through Arden's big cocoon using the help of each god individually. Although, they apparently can't just kill him because that would free me from this nightmare. Your wife's
he's
ghost
immortal,
also shows
wasn't
up,
he?
and I'm gonna be honest, I forgot that Luna Freya was in the game because she's a walking plot device. The game
she
has
was
no autonomous
killed.
women in it. Very based of you, Japan. As for the ending of the game, it's everything that the developers had left over. Big Dog, fuck it, he's in the game now. Breakdancing man, yeah, do it, just put him in the geometry. Hey Noctis, I need your help to retrieve 10 metal after I killed my wife. I thought I was done with this. And of course, killing Noctis's grandparents with a fucking bazooka. So by the time we've reached
How
what is
else?
essentially the Joker, I can say with confidence that I am fucking done. It's very fitting that Arden's only motivation as a villain is to personally screw with me until the final battle, because that's exactly what the game has accomplished. The game even says it out loud.
Spite's all that's kept him going.
Really, you're gonna go with just spite. Killing Arden is pretty much a formality at this point, only made more expedient when God gets off his ass and actually helps me by ruining the final boss fight. What a cool mechanic. Much like the rest of the game,
Yeah, it
I
is
don't know
weird.
what's happening, and yet I'm winning. Now as I
It's
watch
random?
Noctis painfully throw his body onto the various
Today's
beams of light,
subject, unconventional warfare tactics.
the game even feels the need to be so ridiculous and dramatic that Noctis McFucking kills himself so that he can double kill Arden in the afterlife. But really, that's just part of the charm. Final Fantasy 15 realizes to some extent just how ridiculous it's being. The fact that it doesn't care for even a second how much money it throws away, how
Killing himself and then killing the boss again. It's kind of like 7. But you don't kill yourself, but you actually jumping in a thing that kills everything, but not you. Okay, whatever.
the set pieces are, or just how fucked up the pacing is kind of endearing. The game has altered genres hour by hour. It has both too much money and not enough money. It's both an open world game and a string of set pieces. And the combat
Yeah.
is great. Or it's terrible. One could say it depends on your outlook. There's this moment near the end of the game where it asks you to reflect. It's taken pictures of you throughout the game, and I was going to choose the one that exemplified my playthrough. I didn't think that it meant much until the final cutscene where Noctis shows a picture of the massive turtle to his wife, looking fondly back at all the broken experiences he went through, and I burst out laughing for several minutes. Nothing will ever describe to you what the game is about more than that. This product is not worth
Wait, so
any
she's
of your
alive?
money. It will never be. But holy
change the
shit,
timeline
maybe
again?
it was worth my time.
Okay.
I would like to thank the Illuminati for
What was that? How you want to hear the music drop. If you enjoyed this video, and subscribe. I am. It's an easy way to see more content. Yeah, my guys be very good. Okay.
Million dark money to prevent my starvation. If you would like to contribute to the channel and ensure the reign of our lizard overlords, you can head to my Patreon
I would
to
if I had
learn
money.
more. Thank you all for watching and waiting, and of course, you have 9 days to live.
Oh. 9 days? Oh, I wish it came sooner. Anyway, cool. I'm kind of glad I've never finished it. Even though it looks great and that's what brings me into it, at least brought me into it when I played it, and then that's the only reason I want to play it at all, pretty much because of design. But and there was nothing about design disaster. There was like fucked up gameplay and combat and stuff, but nothing about design that much, at least. Unless I blinked and missed it because the video is that fast. Anyway, great video. Glad I watched it. Glad it came out. Glad you watched it with me. Unless I have 0 views, which is possible. Anyway, thank you, anybody who watched this with me. I appreciate it a lot, and I hope to see you next time. Goodbye. Have a great life. Because one of us has to.